In the previous video, we worked on our XML file, our layout. We added 2 edit text fields onto the screen, and then we added 4 buttons to do our operation. In this video, what we're going to do here is we are going to add, we're going to now work on our activity class to have a reference to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to find my view. I'm going to bind my view objects to a variable here that I'll be able to use. So of course, find view by ID, similar to, I always tell you guys, is if you think about find view by ID, is similar to document.getElement by ID in web development. So what I'm going to do is just going to create my variables and find my references of my XML file so that I'll be able to attach an event to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create them. So first thing is edit text dot edt. We can say edt. What did we have? We have value 1 equals find view by ID r.id and then edt value 1. Then I repeat the same procedure for the other edt value 2. Value 2 equals find view by ID r.id and then we have edt value 2. Then again, I have to repeat the same procedure for the buttons as well. So buttons, button.btn, what did we have? Add equals find view by ID r.id button add. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to show you just one button, and then you can do the rest yourself. Because once you're able to do one, it should be fine for you to do the rest of it by yourself. I'm not going to use the calculator class in this tutorial. I want you to figure out how you're going to use the calculator class, but I'm just going to show you the simple way of how you can do this without using the class. But ideally, using classes and objects helps, makes your code neater and tidier. Not all the time, because sometimes you don't need a class for some things. However, if this is something that you're going to build upon, it's better to use a class so that it makes things easier for yourself. So now that I've found my edt value 1, edt value 2, and then I have my button add, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a button add dot. I'm going to set an onClick listener to it. So set onClick listener, new view the onClick listener. What this allows me to do is I've just attached an onClick listener to my button, which means when I click on my button, it will do something. So what do I need to do? Well, step 1 is I want to get value 1. And then step 2 would be I want to get value 2. So I want to get value 1. And then I also want to get value 2. And then step 3, you would imagine, is to add both values together. Both values together. So again, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create 2 string variables that I'm going to store my variables in. So string dot str value 1 equals edt value 1 dot get text dot toString. So whatever we're getting from the user, we are going to convert it into a string. And then we're going to do the same thing for the value 2 equals edt value 2 dot get text dot toString. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to add the 2 numbers together. But remember that what we're getting from the user is going to be a string. So what we need to do is we need to convert this string into an integer. So how do we do that? Well, I'm just going to create a variable to store and to combine those things into a variable. So I'm just going to teach you different steps. I mean, I'm teaching you this way so that whenever you're stuck, you remember the steps and the procedures that you have to go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create int. I'm just going to do int value 1 equals str, right? Str value. And you have to remember that's going to give us an error. And the reason why it's giving us an error because it's telling us that the value of str value 1 is a string, and you can't put a string inside an integer unless I convert it. So if I click on here, it's telling me to insert this. Let's see what error. Then you see that it's telling me this error. And then the thing about using Android Studio is it will tell you exactly what you need. So it's telling me that I need to wrap it around using integer.parseInt. What integer.parseInt does is that it converts whatever string is in there into an integer if it's possible. So in this case, I'm just going to click on wrap using integer.parseInt. And then you can see that that's working. I could have also used integer.parseInt here, but I'm just showing you the steps that you can take. And then once you get very good at this, you'll be able to skip some steps. So I'm going to do the same thing for integer value 2 equals integer dot parseInt. I'm going to pass in str value 2. And then there we have it. The next thing that we need to do now is I need to display that result onto the screen. So what I'm going to do now is I forgot one thing at the start, which is to also find my txt results. So I'm just going to do text view txt results equals find view by id r.id.button. Well, txt result is what we're looking for. And then what I'm going to do here is, again, I'm going to add another integer result. Now, why am I saying integer result? This integer result is just me going to combine my int value 1 and my int value 2 to make one number. So I just do int value 1 plus int value 2, and then we have it. Then I need to now display that in my in-text view. So how do I now do this? Well, I will show you that in the next video.